This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news, police in pursuit of a suspect's vehicle in El Monte. This is Eyewitness News at 8 on LA56. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
Now, David, there you see it, this slow-speed pursuit. It's barely moving, almost at a walking pace right now. And we understand this has mainly been going on in El Monte, but they have now just entered South El Monte. This whole thing started about 7:15, near where we see the pursuit going on right now, technically in El Monte, but towards South El Monte, where they were trying to pull this vehicle over for multiple violations. And then the driver just decided to take off. There you see it. It's some sort of an SUV, and we think a Chevy SUV. This driver doesn't seem to be trying to get away quickly. He just will not yield. He will not pull over. And as a result, the police are following him. They've hit him multiple times with spike strips. You may occasionally see some sparks coming out from the back of the vehicle because we think that those tires are down to the rims. We do believe there might be some tread left on the front, at least one front tire. Colleen, hit a couple of times by spike strips, maybe even more.
Right, and we've been seeing, like you were saying, it is a very slow-speed pursuit. There are 6 El Monte police cruisers following this, as we believe it is a Chevy Blazer. But again, every now and then you'll see the driver turn or go through an intersection, and you'll see once the speeds pick up just ever so slightly, you can see some sparks kind of coming from it. And as you can see right now, it's sort of just going by very slowly. It's been going on for, it's going to be an hour, coming on 8:15, so it's going on over 45 minutes now, and all these police officers chasing this vehicle. Again, it started, with the moving violation, but then they noticed that the vehicle had some warrants attached to it. Not quite sure if the owner of that vehicle is driving that car. Not quite sure how many people are in that car, if that person has any sort of weapon, but right now it appears that there was one person in the vehicle. No word on exactly if there's any dialogue taking place between this driver and police. At one point someone said maybe that driver was videotaping or with their phone, maybe part of this pursuit. But again, it's not, you can see the helicopter light on it and people are moving to the side. But again, it's a very slow moving police pursuit through El Monte in South El Monte.
Well, you can see, you got a decent shot of the vehicle as we push in from Air 7. You can see, well, it's a very dark shot there, but in the previous one, the back tire for sure is flat. I'm trying to see if the front tire is flat. And hearing some of the scanner talk there, yeah, I think it is flat. Doesn't it look like it's pretty close to down the rims? The back rim, basically, there's no rubber left, and that might be where some of the sparks are coming from. And yeah, the front left tire does seem to be flat as well. We're only seeing one side of the vehicle, but this vehicle is barely moving. We don't know if the fact that the tires are flat is the reason he's going slowly, but I will say that he was going slowly before he was hit with the spike strips, which made it so much easier for police to hit him with those spike strips.
Exactly, and it's kind of curious why police are staying so far away. Is it because they think that driver, what these warrants that are attached to it, could the owner of that vehicle, have registered guns or what have you?
The latest now, we're getting word that we believe all the tires are now flat on this vehicle. And so he's going to have very little control, especially if he tries to turn. Now, you'll notice we've barely seen him make any turns at all. He's just going simply straight. I asked the question whether or not he's been abiding by traffic laws, and we basically have seen him, I wouldn't say blow through these intersections, but he did not stop at the last red light that he had. Okay, we're slowing down here. We don't know if... is he stopping at this intersection? Okay, Air 7 is in a position where this tree is in the way, but there we go. We're moved a little bit. We don't know if he's stopping.
And this is sort of located in Garvey and Mountain View area, so if you're familiar with this area. And now, again, you see it, David. The driver, again, starts to speed up, if you can call it speed up, but clearly not wanting to be taken into custody.
JT Alpa is while watching this pursuit. He is not in Air 7 like he usually is, but he's watching this from his monitor, and he joins us right now via the telephone to give some of his insight. JT, are you with us?
Yeah, David, how do you hear me?
I hear you just fine. This guy, apparently all the tires are now flat from what we understand. He did maneuver that turn. He's not pulling over, though, and he doesn't seem to be too concerned with going quickly to get away from these police officers, yet he won't yield.
And you can see these rims are just spinning out, and a lot of times when we use these when police use these spike strips on these pursuit vehicles, you can see that they'll just keep spinning those rims until those tires absolutely wear down. And we've seen pursuits in the past where the rims actually wear down all the way to the axles until they actually stop. This is a large SUV and a very heavy-duty vehicle, so police are keeping their distance. It is still very dangerous, even though that the tires have been punctured by the spike strips, which are hollow strips that go into the tires and slowly deflate them. But as the vehicle continues on this pursuit, you'll see that the rubber will just completely wear down, and I would expect to see some sparks coming from this vehicle very shortly. But right now, plenty of police in the area behind the suspect vehicle. Not really sure at this time if we know what he's wanted for, but they're in the area. They'll get to a position where they can make a decisive decision whether it's safe to do a pursuit intervention technique or tactic, a pit maneuver, and that'll depend on the area, the traffic in the area, what the suspect's wanted for, if they know if he's armed or not. All those come into consideration for these types of tactics that could happen right now. Right. So that's what they're deploying right now. They're getting ready to possibly do that. We shall see.
Yeah, you can see that these roads are quite crowded. Sorry about the breakup, but we'll adjust that quickly. There has been these roads are narrow. There's still a lot of people out on these roads. They cannot do a pit maneuver while there's a lot of people around, although we have seen them do it on these pedestrian streets before. But I think while you're seeing some traffic around, it's probably a little bit too risky. Plus, this guy, he's not blowing through anything, so I guess you could have a little bit more patience with this person than you would another pursuit, because there aren't a whole lot of lives in danger at this point.
Also, you saw a little bit ago, you saw some pedestrians on the sidewalk, and they were kind of running, and now we're finding out that the driver has been flashing gang signs and trying to make contact with pedestrians. So, of course, they are running. Again, no warrant if there is a weapon inside that vehicle with the driver. But again, you know, we're talking about this area is Garvey and Mountain View, so the location kind of staying within this neighborhood, which one would assume because of the slow speed that this vehicle is taking. But again, flashing gang signs, trying to contact pedestrians, certainly making everyone uneasy out in this area.
And as JT knows, being in Air 7 so often, that these pursuits often go into these neighborhoods where the person is familiar with, and he basically does circles around the neighborhood, right, JT?
That's correct, David, and they almost always go to areas that they're familiar with, and that's in case the suspect wants to get out and possibly run. He wants to run in areas that are familiar to him, that he possibly has friendlies, if you will, in the area. And it was mentioned that the suspect was flashing possible gang signs, so it could be a good, distinct possibility that he's in an area where he knows people, possibly fellow gang members. Again, that's all speculation at this point, but that's something that police are very, very aware of. If there are other possible gang members in the area that may be his friend and he may be on the phone with them, they want to use extreme caution, because right now the suspect is dictating where he is going to stop. So police have to be very aware of their surroundings when that happens, because it can be they can lead them into an ambush type situation. So all those considerations are being weighed, and it's a good idea that police take the suspect into custody where they want to take him into custody rather than where the suspect is leading them.
Right.
So those are all considerations in what they're going to be doing when they if they do a pit maneuver here.
These gang signs could actually escalate the situation a little bit more too, because the early reports where they don't believe he had a weapon, or they at least have not seen him have a weapon. I know the protocol is going to be you have to handle everybody as if they are armed, but now that he's showing gang signs, then it shows a characteristic or a personality that makes him a lot more dangerous potentially. Okay, let's watch this, see what he does. If he's actually, looks like he has stopped. All right, JT,
right now
they have stopped. Cops are out of the cars. What's going on here?
Well, right now what they're doing is they're conducting what's called a high-risk felony stop. Okay, that is where the officers are going to be screaming commands or shouting commands over the PA system, telling the suspect to put his hands out the window, take the keys out of the ignition, dump them out the door. And then what they want to do is they want to take him out of the vehicle in a very structured, slow manner so they can see his hands, see his waistband, make sure he's not carrying any weapons. They'll usually have him turn around and then actually prone himself out on the ground, out to the left side of the driver's side. We'll see if they do that. Every department has their own tactics on how they do this. El Monte PD may do it a little bit differently than LAPD or the LA County Sheriffs, but you can see the keys just came out of the door. He'll reach out the window out of the outside and open the door from the outside, and then continue to go through that process, being directed by the officers in the car every step of the way on what to do, how to do it, and how quickly to do it. When he gets down on the ground, they will cover him at gunpoint, and then they will clear that vehicle. You can see it's a very large vehicle with tinted windows. That's a big concern. They don't know if there's any possible other suspects in the car, so they got to get a team up on that vehicle, get it cleared before they approach that suspect and take him into custody.
Right.
It looks like he is trying to do something.
Well, it looks like he did reach for the car. Maybe it was locked. The door might have been locked, and then he reached inside, probably unlocked it. There you go. And now he, as JT pointed out, they're going to ask him to open the door from the outside, which he did. It did appear that he tried to do it earlier, but the door was locked. So he probably had to ask for permission to reach back inside the vehicle. So here he is. He's out of the vehicle, JT. They're going to get him to get down on his knees.
Well, usually what they'll do is they'll have him raise his hands and possibly even turn around or lift his shirt up so they can see his waistband. Typically, most suspects will carry weapons in their waistband concealed by their shirts. So sometimes we'll have them turn around so they can see their waistband, and then they will usually prone them out down to their knees and down to their belly and out flat to their face, facing away from them. That's the usual felony high-risk stop prone. You can see that they're going to have him walk away from the vehicle, and then they're giving him commands step by step on what to do and how to do it. It differs, and tactics differ from each department and even from each officer based on their training and experience on how exactly they do that.
And you just said it right there, JT, where he is pulling up his shirt, showing if he does have any weapons, and he did turn and face them. Obviously, he was ready to kind of kneel down when he was facing the officers.
Now they're having to walk backwards. Basically, he's walking himself to the officers. I guess they're trying to get him away from the vehicle.
Yeah, they want to get him away from the vehicle in case there's any weapons that may be in the vehicle, anybody else in the vehicle. Some officers will actually have them walk back to the sound of their voice to the car and take them into custody at the car. And again, all the tactics differ, and it looks like El Monte's tactic is going to walk him backwards to the car with his hands up. The passenger officer will put hands on and get him cuffed up, get him searched, and then a team will go clear that car shortly after.
It looks like, from what the notes that we're getting, there's a large crowd starting to gather there in El Monte of people watching this nearby from the sidewalk. Also, they're saying that a big group of bicyclists have kind of found their way there. There you go. That's a good shot of all the commotion going on in El Monte. If you look at the upper right-hand side, that looks like a crowd of folks. There's traffic everywhere. Down below, another crowd of folks. So this is definitely getting a lot of attention in the city of El Monte right now. And this guy, of all the places to stop, right in the middle of an intersection, so traffic is stopped in every direction.
Yeah, and you see he is getting taken out. He's going into I think he's about to be put into the police cruiser.
Yeah, they got him in cuffs now, and they're going to put him in the vehicle, in a police cruiser, right, and then they'll probably search the vehicle. So this appears to be over. JT, thank you very much for helping us out with this. Keep in mind, we still don't know exactly why this person ran from the police. They did find the vehicle was attached to multiple violations. We'll try to get some more information with you, to you. But luckily, this ended without anybody getting hurt. No gunfire especially, and he finally did comply after running from them at a very slow speed.
For almost an hour now. All right, well, we are following other news tonight at 8 o'clock. New at 8 o'clock, controversy continues to swirl at Malibu High School after complaints about toxins on campus. Tonight, some famous faces are attending a city council meeting in support of further testing. Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride is live in Malibu City Hall with more. Melissa.
And Colleen, the meeting is still going on right now. The council has not yet reached this item on the agenda, but the council is expected to vote tonight on a resolution proposed by Mayor Skylar Peak that would be in full favor of PCB source testing in all Malibu schools. Earlier this year, the Environmental Protection Agency tested several areas at Malibu High and determined the PCB levels are acceptable, but that has not put any parents or teachers at ease. Last year, 4 teachers were diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Concerns over toxins at the school and elsewhere, possibly in the district, continue. Supermodel Cindy Crawford is here, and this year she's homeschooling her 2 kids instead of sending them back to Malibu High. She's even offered to pay for more testing of building materials to check for PCBs.
I think just for peace of mind for all the parents and the faculty and the kids that they need to do a comprehensive testing of the source, which we know for sure is the caulk. There might be other problems, but we know it's there.
Well, we do have the powers to put pressure on them and make it public and really just, again, try to pass this resolution tonight, which says we want more testing for our kids.
And of course, the city would have to work with the school district if this resolution is passed, and Mayor Peake does believe that there is enough support to pass this resolution. He also says that he was first made aware of the possibility of toxins at Malibu High because his mother is a librarian there. We'll have more on this story tonight on Eyewitness News at 11. Reporting live in Malibu, I'm Melissa McBride, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Melissa, thank you. Up next here at 8, Hurricane Norbert still causing flash flooding. We're going to show you where, plus this story.
She says, I've been here for over 60 days and they put me in that cage.
A couple is under arrest accused of kidnapping a woman and keeping her as a slave. Hear more from the man who made sure she got the help she needed.
And a mystery virus sickens kids around the country. It's not here in Southern California yet. What you can do to protect your family.
Hi there, I'm Danny Romero. Well, will this thunderstorm action finally stop? I'll let you know with the 7-day coming up in just a bit.
It's a story a lot of people are talking about, the newest video of a domestic violence incident involving Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice. As ABC's Karen Travers reports, the team released Rice today after the video became public.
Just hours after this damning video of Ray Rice assaulting his wife went public, the Baltimore Ravens terminated him.
They had no choice. When that video comes out this morning, it's over.
This new video obtained by TMZ Sports allegedly shows what happened inside that Atlantic City casino elevator between the Ravens running back and his then fiancée. Here's Rice hitting Janae Palmer, who charges back at him. Then he lands a punch that knocks her out. TMZ says it altered the video to, quote, smooth out what it described as jumpy raw video. Since that video came out, questions were swirling about what the NFL and the Ravens knew and when. The NFL said today this was the first time officials there saw any video of what happened inside the elevator. But Rice himself said this in July.
I think Roger Goodell has everything that the court system has.
The aftermath of that punch was already public. This disturbing video showing Rice dragging an unconscious Palmer out of the elevator. But Palmer defended him, and so the Ravens running back was charged with just a third-degree aggravated assault. If he completes a diversion program, the charge could be dropped. In July, Rice said repeatedly his actions were inexcusable.
I made the biggest mistake of my life.
The NFL has been under fire for Rice's meager 2-game suspension. In response to the backlash, the league announced a new domestic violence policy. First-time offenders get a 6-game suspension. A second offense, a lifetime ban. The NFL said today it has suspended Ray Rice indefinitely. He would have to apply to be reinstated. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Thunderstorms that hit Southern California are now slamming Las Vegas. Take a look at some of the flooding roadways drivers are dealing with right now. Nearly 3 inches of rain fell over the course of an hour, flooding some streets and parking lots near the Vegas Strip. A real mess out there. And back here at home, this is what it looked like in the Coachella Valley. Torrents of water washed across the landscape, trapping cars in mud nearly up to the bumpers. The flooding turned streets into rivers, and it was slow going for the morning commute.
And all this stemming from Hurricane Norbert. Let's go over to Danny Romero, who is in for Jonathan Novak. Hi, Danny.
All right, thanks very much, Colleen. David. Yeah, Norbert pretty much all gone now, but yeah, the influence of it's still all around. Tropical moisture still hanging with us. On our live Mega Doppler 7000 AC, we can find some spots showing some of that rain happening right now, and we'll see that still part of the weather picture from Anaheim, Orange, Santa Ana, through most of Orange County right now. Chino Hills at least getting some light rain, indicated by the light green here on the live Mega Doppler 7000 HC. Up around the mountain areas there too, Crestline, Running Springs, some light rain coming down at the moment. We'll keep an eye on it through the nighttime. Here's our live shot now, HD. It's the Irvine Spectrum camera showing some clouds hanging on there, hot clouds over downtown LA as well. Temperature at 77 degrees, 47% relative humidity. The tropical moisture still in place in our area, however, starting to dry out a bit. By tomorrow, we'll see most of this gone as this high-pressure ridge that kind of drove everything into our area will start to break down somewhat, and that moisture breaking down as well. Here's our numbers tonight. Tonight, a slightly cooler night than last night with numbers to the mid to upper 60s. Everywhere you go, pretty much from 66 in Simi Valley, 67 in Palmdale. Highs tomorrow, another warm day. Still a little humidity in the air. 91 for Northridge and Palmdale. 78 at Malibu for the high. Huntington Beach goes to 77. Through the IE, we'll see a 91 in San Bernardino and a 92 in Beaumont. Here's our 7-day Power Back weather showing you clouds at the beaches during the morning hours, then sunny in the afternoon. And here comes the warm-up. By the weekend, we go from 85 on Tuesday to Saturday and Sunday to 91 and 95. Some real heat is on the way. We're looking ahead to the valleys. In the Inland Empire, a sunny, warm couple of days, and then getting very warm as we move, going up little by little each day. So from 91 on Tuesday to 98 by Friday to 102 by Sunday. Heat is on the way. Here's for the mountain areas. We're going to see partly cloudy skies. Still a little humidity there tomorrow. Then clearing out and warming up too from 70 on Tuesday to 80 by Saturday and upper 70s into the weekend. High desert areas, less humid, but still a little bit in there. Winds kicking up a little bit. Then sunny, dry desert weather moves in from 91 Tuesday to 100 to 101 by Sunday and Monday. Colleen and David, it's yours.
All right, Danny, thank you. Still to come, the latest on the mystery illness sickening children.
And royal baby number 2 is on the way. Boy or girl, Henry or Elizabeth, the odds makers are already taking bets. A mystery virus has infected hundreds of children in more than 10 states. As health specialist Denise Dodor explains, the outbreak is caused by a rare virus, and a public health official, they're concerned that this outbreak could be headed our way.
Babies gasping for air and children being placed on ventilators. For weeks, the uncommon cold virus that attacks the airways has stricken more than 1,000 children in 11 states, including 13-year-old Will Cornejo.
My head started hurting after my lungs started sort of closing up.
Kids with asthma, like Will, are more susceptible to enterovirus 68, and many of the kids hospitalized are under the age of 5. It starts out with a runny nose, sneezing, and coughing, but pediatric infectious disease specialist Dr. Pia Panaraj says it can progress quickly.
With this illness, there's a lot of wheezing. So it's because they can't get the air in and out of their lungs properly, so they make a noise as they exhale.
Infectious disease specialists say enterovirus 68 was first identified here in California in the 1960s. There have been pockets of illnesses ever since, but this year scientists suspect somehow the virus has changed.
It's possible that the virus evolved somehow so that it spreads more easily from person to person.
Which is why it's very likely the virus will be spreading through Southern California soon. Many parents are already on high alert.
I always have sanitizer, disinfectant spray, Clorox wipes.
There's no antiviral medication or vaccine. Supportive care is the only treatment. As always, the best defense is to get plenty of sleep, eat whole foods, and constant hand washing. But if symptoms go beyond a bad cold, Dr. Panaraj says head to the emergency room. Signs of distress include a severe cough, wheezing, trouble speaking, or great difficulty breathing.
Particularly aren't eating properly, aren't sleeping properly, and just can't breathe, especially if they're turning blue.
So why has the virus affected primarily children? Pediatricians say it's because children have smaller airways and their immune systems aren't as developed. However, public health officials do say they expect to see more adult cases as the outbreak spreads. In the newsroom, Denise Dodor, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
We're updating the evening's top stories next at 8:30, including the slow-speed pursuit we saw play out live just minutes ago.
Plus a search for a mountain lion that attacked a little boy. What authorities are doing tonight to find that animal.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30 is suspect is in custody after a police pursuit in El Monte. Hello, I'm David Ono.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. The pursuit started around 7:30 tonight near South El Monte. Police reportedly tried to pull the driver over for a vehicle code violation, but the driver took off. He only got up to about 20 miles an hour after losing all of his tires to police spike strips. The pursuit ended nearly an hour later near Peck Road and Elliott Avenue in El Monte. A large crowd of people, about 100 people, gathered outside as the suspect was put in the back of a police cruiser. No word on the identity of that driver.
The Baltimore Ravens have released Ray Rice after video of him striking his then-fiancée became public. Video shows the running back knocking Janae Palmer unconscious in an elevator back in February. In July, the NFL suspended Rice for the first 2 games of the season. The league has now suspended him indefinitely, saying they had not seen the entire video until today.
Tonight, game wardens are conducting an all-out search for a mountain lion that attacked a young boy near Cupertino in Silicon Valley. As reporter Vic Lee tells us, officials want to catch the big cat before he hurts anyone else.
Searchers and their hounds have seen tracks that appear to be from the same mountain lion in a drainage area of the canyon where the 6-year-old boy was attacked. Game warden Travis Jarrett was with the dogs all night.
It feels very comfortable in that specific area. We have cut tracks going up the hill, back down the hill, and then also a few tracks that are fairly fresh.
The 6-year-old boy was with his family and friends yesterday afternoon on a hiking trail just off the Piketty Winery grounds. He was walking about 10 feet ahead of the group when the lion grabbed and dragged him through the brush. Authorities say his father and another man were able to get the lion to release the boy by shouting and scaring it away. Tonight, the searchers will bring in fresh dogs and traps with roadkill carcasses. The traps would enable the wardens to catch the animal alive and test its DNA against that which was left on the child.
We could conclusively demonstrate that this was the animal that attacked this young child. It would very likely be euthanized. If it's not, of course, we'd let it go.
But the trappers say they prefer dogs, which are trained to sniff out the mountain lion's tracks. As seen here in this video, by turning them loose, they can go at their own pace. They found one and chased it up a tree. Meantime, visitors to the winery had mixed feelings about going hiking here.
I mean, I'm not too worried. Just hanging out at the winery, I feel like it's, pretty safe as long as you follow the safety standards.
We had to cancel our plans to take a hike in the woods today.
That's a good idea. Game wardens say the lion was so aggressive it even followed the boy and his family as they were running back to the parking lot. In Cupertino, Vic Lee, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The Obama administration is asking Congress for more than $1 billion more to deal with all those unaccompanied minors arriving along the border with Mexico. The Homeland Security Secretary said today that the money is needed for the next fiscal year, which begins next month. Without it, he says money will have to be moved from other accounts, which could leave the nation vulnerable to other Homeland Security risks. Many House Republicans view the request skeptically since the number of migrant kids crossing the border has recently subsided.
Former New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin has begun serving his 10-year prison sentence. This is video of Nagin turning himself over to authorities at a federal prison in Texas today. Nagin was sentenced to 10 years for bribery, money laundering, and tax evasion. Prosecutors say his corruption began before Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans in 2005 and flourished afterwards. The 58-year-old will serve his time in a low-level security prison.
Prosecutors have filed formal charges against a state senator accused of drunk driving. San Diego Democrat Ben Hueso faces 2 misdemeanor charges, driving under the influence and driving with a blood alcohol content of 0.08 or higher. Hueso was arrested last month after a CHP officer spotted him going the wrong way down a Sacramento street. Earlier that night, Hueso and other lawmakers were photographed drinking in the Capitol after a dinner for the Latino Legislative Caucus.
A man who rescued a woman being held captive as a sex slave is speaking out.
I said, what's the matter? She says, I've been here for over 60 days and they put me in that cage.
Ronald Higgs of Indiana says he went to the home of his ex-wife and her current husband last week where he saw the 30-year-old woman locked in a cage. He says he came back the following day and that's when the woman told him that she was being held captive.
I didn't really know what I could do because I'm nowhere near the man I used to be. But I'm not leaving this house without her.
He says at first he tried to buy the woman from them, and when that didn't work, he had to fight his way out with her. The couple, Ricky House and Kendra Tooley, have been charged with rape, kidnapping, and criminal confinement. Higgs says he thinks that they were trying to force her to have House's baby.
Home Depot, the nation's largest home improvement retailer, is now confirming a security breach. That breach puts at risk customers who use debit or credit cards at the store since April. Just last week, Home Depot confirmed that it was investigating a possible breach. The company apologizes for any anxiety this is causing customers. It also says there's no evidence the breach impacts anyone using stores in Mexico or ordering products online.
The British royal family is growing again.
Prince William and Duchess of Cambridge have announced that they are expecting their second child. Eyewitness News reporter Rudabeh Shivazi has the exciting detail.
Prince George has been stealing the show since last July when the little heir was born to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge.
He's got a good pair of lungs on him, that's for sure. He's a big boy, he's quite heavy.
But he won't be an only child for long. The royal couple is expecting again. Her Royal Highness is less than 3 months pregnant, but may have again been forced to make the announcement early on because of severe morning sickness.
She's feeling okay, thanks. It's been a tricky few days, week or so. But obviously, we're immensely thrilled. It's great news. Early days, but I'm hoping things settle down and she feels a bit better.
When Kate Middleton was pregnant with Prince George in 2012, the condition was so bad she had to be hospitalized. This time, the 32-year-old is being treated in Kensington Palace and has already had to cancel at least one engagement because she's been so ill. The baby's uncle, Prince Harry, is celebrating with a sense of humor.
It's very exciting news. I can't wait to see my brother suffer more. And with any luck, if it's a girl, then he'll suffer even greater. I think I'd love to see him try and cope with that. But yeah, in all seriousness, I hope my sister-in-law gets better.
The Queen was quick to express her delight, as was British Prime Minister David Cameron, who tweeted, quote, "Many congratulations to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. I'm delighted by the happy news that they're expecting another baby."
The latest royal addition will be fourth in line to the throne, pushing Prince Harry to fifth. One-year-old Prince George, who's currently third in line, will likely become Britain's monarch one day. Rudabeh Shivazi, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And British odds makers are out with predictions about the second royal baby. The odds of the baby being a boy are 4 to 5 and an even money shot for a girl. As for the names, the early favorite, James, with 6 to 1 odds. Arthur is next with 8 to 1 odds, and Charles, the grandfather's name, is tied with Thomas at 10 to 1. And another odds maker list tops with names of girl choices as Victoria, Charlotte, Alice, and Alexandra. The betting agencies did not say how many bets have already been placed.
It's mind-boggling. Betting is already going on.
It's stressful.
Yeah. Up next, former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's return to the Capitol. We'll show you his official portrait.
Plus, Mel Brooks has certainly left his mark in Hollywood. Now he's done it literally.
Love Mel Brooks. Hi there, I'm Danny Romero. We have changing weather coming our way. I'll tell you all about it with a 7-day on the way next.
It was a special day for Arnold Schwarzenegger. The movie star and former California governor briefly returned to his political stomping grounds for the unveiling of his official state portrait. The painting was created by Australian Gottfried Hellmine. Before the unveiling, Schwarzenegger reflected on his legacy as governor.
I'm very proud of the things we did get done, from investing in our infrastructure to reforming our political system to protecting the environment.
The portrait will hang on the third floor of the state capitol next to Schwarzenegger's predecessor, Governor Gray Davis.
Mel Brooks has given us some of the funniest movies ever. Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs, just to name a few.
Today, this one-of-a-kind Hollywood legend left his handprints along with other movie greats at the TCL Chinese Theater. And as Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes reports, he made everybody laugh once again.
Slimy cement, awkward positions, and heat from the sun as well as the media. For Mel Brooks, just another day of taking a messy situation and making it funny.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This has almost been fun, really.
The 88-year-old comedian pressed his hands and feet into the Hollywood history books, finally staking a claim in the concrete outside the TCL Chinese Theater.
I'm on the verge of crying. I'm really crying because I'm afraid my shoes are ruined in the cement, but otherwise, no, it's a great honor.
Brooks has been a Hollywood staple for more than 60 years, starting as a comedy writer, then moving in front of the camera.
These things are defective.
Then back behind it again as a director. 3 of his films are ranked in the American Film Institute's top 15 comedies of all time.
Say the gift. Give him a say the gift.
Brooks is also one of the few entertainers to have won an Oscar, an Emmy, a Grammy, and a Tony. His Academy Award earned for The Producers, a film that used Hitler as a punchline.
I am going to be so thrilled and happy to have people come and see my handprints and my feet and my name here.
But leave it to Mel to sneak one over on these Hollywood types. Take a look at this handprint. Does it look a little strange to you?
Give me a high 6.
Yeah. There we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But there'll be a lot of tourists in the future who might notice that I had 6 fingers on my left hand.
And so much more up his sleeve. But while Brooks's hands and feet are doing the work today, it's his comedy that's made the biggest impression.
Look, Herman, I'm in Hedy Lamar's shoes.
Hedley.
In Hollywood, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Great.
So wonderful.
Yeah, decades from now, people could see the 6 fingers there.
That was interesting, yes.
Yeah, great idea. As is our wild weather finally over, at least for now. Danny Ramiro has his complete forecast coming up next.
Plus in sports, and USC Athletic Director Pat Hayden learns his fate for coming down on the sidelines during Saturday's win at Stanford.
And is the jeans industry suffering from a case of the blues? Why more women may be giving up on denim. Months of training paid off for a German waiter. He now holds the world record for carrying beer mugs. Oliver Strumpfel carried 27 one-liter mugs full of Bavarian beer for a distance of 40 meters. That's about 131 feet. Strumpfel was or has worked at the Guillemots, I probably totally messed that up, beer festival in Ebensburg for the past 17 years. But to prepare for this contest, he's actually been hitting the gym to work out. That's a lot of weight to carry.
Can you imagine? You have to be. That is heavy, and he carries it.
He's doing a service. I mean, there's like 25 people who have beer now from that one delivery.
The biggest part of that was that he didn't drink one of those. He brought them all.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't. We kept rolling. You never know.
Cameras off. There you go.
Exactly.
Yikes.
Wow, you needed some people who like beer needed a beer to cool off.
Yeah, I tell you, very humid. It felt so tropical feeling. So not quite Hawaii, but certainly feeling almost like the weather there. Let's go outside right now. There is still some moisture in the air, and some of that actually hitting the ground. The Live Magnet Opera 7000 HD. We can show you some scattered showers through the area right now as we speak. And some of those spots, again, the light green indicating light rain coming down in those areas. We check them out from Villa Park, Anaheim, Fullerton, La Habra, Yorba Linda over to Chino Hills. There, some light rain is coming down. Farther north, we go up to Rancho Cucamonga, to Mount Baldy, Chino, over to Rubidoux. Also, looking at some slight light rain coming down right now, and to the mountain areas there too. Big Bear, Running Springs, also light rain at the moment. For the most part, though, we're starting to wind things down from this last system. Here's our looks out at Long Beach. Clouds there. Clouds through downtown LA as well, with the temperatures at 77. Real warm here on a summer night. Relative humidity at 47% as well. Rain today had some records set. Now, that's very impressive numbers, but just the same records nonetheless. Woodland Hills, 0.08. Long Beach, just over a tenth of an inch of record there. Over a tenth. Palmdale, record there as well. Riverside got over an inch of rain today, almost an inch and a quarter. Palm Desert topped off, everybody, at 3 inches of rain today alone. And here's why. All this tropical moisture still in action for our area, but quickly being dried out. And we're going to see now a ridge of high pressure move into our area by the weekend. And when this high moves in, we're going to see some very, very warm temperatures jumping up. But here's the good thing. It'll be warm, but it'll be that dry kind of warm without that humidity in place. That's out of the way. Here's our numbers tonight. Down to 70 in San Bernardino, to 61 in Lancaster, to 70 at Long Beach, 61 in Ventura. Tomorrow's highs warm again, 91 from Palmdale. 90 for Fillmore. We'll go to 91 in Northridge, and Malibu will go to 78 degrees. Again, a little humidity left over, not much, mainly in the mountain and desert spots, but here comes the real change. Watch 7-day power back. They're showing you clouds, the beaches during the morning hour. It's that marine layer coming back. That'll drop temps for a little bit to 85, hold them there anyway, and then here comes the heat up to the 90s by the weekend. Valleys and the Inland Empire will see some sunny, warm days ahead. Warmer still from 91 tomorrow to 102 by the end of the weekend. Still at triple digits on Monday to start next week. Here's how the mountains are going to look tomorrow. Still partly cloudy, a little humidity left there, but not much. Clearing out by Wednesday and warming up by Thursday and Friday, and by Saturday and Sunday we're up at 80 and 78 degrees. High desert spots will still be less humid tomorrow, but also warm. And then the dry desert heat moves in for Wednesday, Thursday, and then by Friday, here it comes, triple digits Friday through the weekend and into next week as well. David and Colleen, go ahead.
Danny, thank you. Pac-12 Conference has fined USC Athletic Director Pat Hayden $25,000 for coming down to the field on Saturday's win at Stanford. Hayden tweeted tonight that he sent the check to Commissioner Larry Scott with a special request that the fine be forwarded to Children's Hospital Los Angeles for autism research. Hayden's 5-year-old grandson has autism. Well, the fine stems from a sideline confrontation involving head coach Steve Sarkisian and the referee. Sarkisian was livid after his team was hit with a delay of game penalty in the third quarter. He became more upset after he was hit with the additional unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. At that point, Sarkisian asked for Hayden to come down to the sidelines. Hayden left the press box, raced to the aid of his coach, and he had an exchange with the officials. Sarkisian told ESPN Radio that he's the only one who should be blamed for what happened.
At the moment, I was emotional. We were fired up. I felt like I needed to continue to coach our team. And the right thing to do at the time was to bring Pat down to try to kind of cool the heads there and get calmer heads involved. I look back at it now, and I regret calling Pat down. It was not Pat's decision to come onto the field. It was mine requesting him to come down. I feel bad that he's the one getting reprimand for it. It should be me. So in the future, that's my job to manage the game. I need to do a better job of it.
Well, the same could be said for USC star linebacker Hayes Pullard, who was ejected from the game for this illegal hit on Ty Montgomery. A makeup matinee for the Angels in Cleveland. Top of the fifth, Cole Calhoun takes aim at Toledo, hitting a two-run homer to right center field. It's a 1 of 16 hits for the Angels. David Freese added a 3-run rocket in the fifth. The Angels scored 6 in this inning off of Danny Salazar, who hadn't given up a run in 21 straight innings. The Angels blast 4 homers in a 12-3 win. They are now 7.5 games up on Oakland in the AL West.
Now to fashion, do Americans have the blues with jeans? Our love affair with the iconic pants may be waning. Eyewitness News reporter Giovanna Lara explains why after decades of growth, sales of blue jeans are fading.
It's midday in Beverly Hills, and everywhere you look, someone is wearing leggings or yoga pants. The casual look some call athleisure is on the rise, just as America's obsession with denim is on the decline. Sales of jeans fell 6% this past year, the decline primarily led by women who are turning to gym wear for their everyday look.
I think as a society, we're certainly saying we want to be fit, we want to be healthy, and also we don't want to try too hard. And there's something about this look that says, hey, I'm cool, I'm casual, I'm not stressed out too much, I'm not running around, and that look really sums it up. So it does it all, and it's so comfortable.
Jane Buckingham, CEO of Trendera, who follows nationwide trends, says it's true athleisure wear is giving jeans a run for their money, but by no means are jeans going away.
No, we are not going to stop seeing jeans.
I love them and I hope they last forever. Retail sales experts say denim sales still account for 20% of annual sales at department stores.
To me, that's not a replacement for pants or jeans. That's something you wear when you're working out. It's like workout wear.
I do agree that they are more casual, but I love jeans. I would never give up on my jeans. So, and I also think that you need to have a special body to wear the workout clothes.
I don't think that the Gap and Levi's have to worry too much. They're certainly part of people's lives, and they're also a main fashion item. But I think they have to stay on their toes to make sure that they keep having styles and fashion that people want to wear, because the leisure category is one to watch for sure.
And Levi Strauss doesn't seem too worried. In a recent blog post, they acknowledged the popularity of athleisure, but referred to it as a fad, and said jeans still dominate the market with a 40% share in the bottoms category for men and women. In Beverly Hills, Giovanna Lara, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
We have more news straight ahead here at 8:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC. Video of a couple getting into a violent confrontation at Huntington Beach is going viral. We hear from the woman who videotaped the disturbing fight and the victim in the wheelchair. Plus, how a local woman who almost lost her life is changing the lives of children all around the world. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast. Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC.
Teenage performers showed off their talents today at the 3rd Street Promenade. The performances featured cello players, guitar players, singers, dancers, actors. It's all part of the inaugural Young Arts Awareness Day. The nationwide initiative is designed to encourage support for artistic development in young people.
How much fun for people who are shopping on the promenade to see this.
Seriously.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next on LA56.
Good night.